Welcome to US 50. I'm about to document the western half of US 50 through the states of Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and California. The entire US 50 covers about 3,000 miles from East Coast to West Coast, starting all the way in Maryland and ending in Sacremento, heading west. And this part of the trip is going to be about 1,700 miles, and starting here at the Missouri-Kansas border. I'm in Leawood, Kansas, and it's the town that is basically, as soon as you cross over into Kansas, you're in Leawood, and it's pretty much a suburb of Kansas City. US 50 was started in the mid-1920s as part of the United States highway system. There were a bunch of roads that were started at that time, like Route 66 and then 50 and 40. There was a bunch of them, and 50 goes right through the middle of the country. So it was very popular. It was very important to connect East Coast to West Coast in the 1920s as people were trying to head west, and people started, the automobile started becoming more used rather than going on a train. People could hop in a car and drive west, and so roads like this were very important. And there were small towns that were connected along these roads all the way through. And then in the 1970s is when the interstate system was started, and that's when roads like US 50, and especially the more rural areas, were kind of bypassed, and a lot of those small towns started to get even smaller. Whenever I'm doing these road trips, I like to go to every town or every former town or every single little dot on the map that is near the road that I'm exploring. So we're gonna learn about a lot of different places, big and small. And actually the bigger places, like where I'm at right now, I will cruise through really quick and get out of the town and head kind of out into the wide open spaces as quick as I can. There's nothing really exciting at the beginning of this trip, because as we start on 50, we're on Interstate 435. So there's not really a big, sign to start. You're just flying across the highway, and right there at the Kansas border is where we will get started. We'll see a lot more interesting things than the beginning. So let's head out on US 50. Once again, we're starting out on interstate systems. We'll try to be on the two-lane roads and the original roads as much as we can, but in some places you just can't, because all that's left is the interstate. So hopefully we'll find a lot of two-lane roads and a lot of interesting places. So come along for the ride. Let's start US 50. I get a lot of questions about which map I'm using on my trips. So here's the map. Each state that I go through will be one of these. And so let me show you my route. We're looking at the green line here. So we'll be starting in Leawood, approximately. This is all Leawood right here. And we'll be taking that mostly expressway over, and every time you see like a line like that, it means I'm going to go check out that town. And so mainly on expressway, and then we'll get off the expressway to go in to some other towns that are maybe actually more original Route 50 or US 50, and that'll take us on through to Gardner. You might wonder why I'm not going to stop in big cities and show you all the stuff to do in a big city. It's because there's lots of videos on YouTube. If you want to know what to do in Kansas City, there's a lot better videos than this. I'm going to breeze through places like that and show you the more out of the way places that don't get as much attention. from Gardner, we are on 56, which was the original 50. Here's the expressway. So we're gonna stay there. And then right here, there'll be a little bit split that I'll talk about when we get there. And so I'm not sure exactly where the original US 50 was in this range, but we're around there. We're gonna go to towns that are kind of along it. Sometimes we're on the expressway and sometimes we're not, all the way down to Ottawa. Right here is kind of an interesting part of the road here in Kansas. I've been on 56 going through these last couple towns, and I mentioned how they were kind of connected a little bit. Well, when they originally started US 50, it's split right here at this intersection now where it's 56 and 33. And it's split, and there was a North US 50 and a South US 50. And the North US 50 went from here, you know, in the north, I guess, of Kansas, out and then connected back with Garden City in western Kansas. We're going to follow what's considered more, you know, US 50 today, which would be the old US 50 South. And this happened, you know, a lot of times in roads around the country. Like if you go through Dallas, there's a 35 West and a 35 East, I believe. And so this was a 50 North and a 50 South. We'll reconnect with that in a couple days, but we're going to continue on the southern route, which is today considered US 50. Just south of Ottawa, right here, this is old US 50. So we're gonna go on there, and all along there are some little towns and some ghost towns that'll be interesting to see. And we'll take that, it basically goes through Waverly. as you can see, we're basically running parallel with the expressway as we continue to go through towns, and then we reconnect with the expressway as we head into Emporia. Once we get through Emporia, there are a bunch of little towns all through here that we'll go check out. There's, once again, Old Highway 50 that splits there. This is the 2-lane road 50, and we'll take the old 50. As we roll through Emporia, we're about to hit the area called the Flint Hills, and I've done a lot of videos in this area, and it's just a beautiful area, very underrated area of Kansas that you might not realize as you're driving through US 50. Things start to open up as we get west of Strong City. The towns start to get a little farther away, and it's really pretty driving. A little corner of the map here through Florence, and then down to Peabody, and we're almost done. The final leg of today's trip takes us through Walton, and then we're going to finish the day in Newton. that's the end of day one. We have reached Newton, Kansas, and this is only just a few minutes north of Wichita, which is where I live, so that's where I'm going to stay tonight. So no hotel tonight. The rest of the trip I'll be staying in hotels and showing you all along the way where I'll be staying. But tonight, I'm going to stay at my place, and then we'll get back up early tomorrow. We'll start heading west.